Hi.
All right, you guys, I am so excited to bring to you today Mr. Mike Karg. If you don't know him, what are you doing in your career? And if you do, congrats. So, Mr. Karg, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you, Krystine.
Yes,
Sherwood, Sherwood. Do they just call you by your last name as well?
sometimes. Sometimes they
Sometimes,
do.
yeah. I love last names.
I do too. I really do. I love the whole surname origin
Yeah.
and the ancestry stuff. What
Yeah.
is your last name? Where is it from? Where does it originate? What does it mean?
Correct. So, well, obviously, my last name is Karg, and actually, it comes from Germany. It's also a verb that you use when you actually describe a countryside that's really poor and odd looking. You say it's a very Karg countryside.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
it
I
has
did
many
not.
it has many different meanings. Yeah.
Yeah,
Karg.
I
How about
love.
yours?
Mine is Sherwood, right? So Old English, it was
Nice.
Shirewood, right? Shirewood.
Shirewood.
And
Okay.
it was people of the wood. And
Nice.
and it makes sense when you think of like Robin Hood and all those people, they were running.
Sure.
So anybody who lived in the green wood, which is what Shire means, they would call them people of the wood, Shirewood. And so that's who I am. I,
That's
I am
very
a
good. Now,
woods.
do you go out to the woods at all?
No, I have a
No.
hunting
Oh.
dog and everything, and you would think that I
Oh.
I I
You're
would.
halfway there
Right.
with a hunting dog. I love the woods. It's definitely a place to decompress, and they're very close here in Switzerland, so we got a lot of that around. I love the woods. It's so good.
That's where you are right now.
I am in Zurich, Switzerland. Yes, that's where my
Oh,
home base is now.
oh,
Correct. So
I
there's a
love it.
lot of parts to my where I'm at, but my home base, that's where I'm with my wife, is in Zurich, Switzerland.
How beautiful. I love that. Oh, I love
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell everybody how you got started. Like how did
Yeah.
Karg become Karg, right?
Good one. How Karg became Karg. And still working on it, of course. Very simple. I was born in New York.
Okay.
So that makes me dual citizen, and I was brought up in Switzerland. So my parents are Swiss. My dad worked at one point in his life for an American company. Matter of fact, he did the apprentice at the same company as he retired.
Wow.
That generation doesn't exist anymore.
No, it
I mean,
hurts me.
unbelievable, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, things have changed so much. But anyway, all good. And, bless his heart, he's still alive, hitting close to 90. And my mom as well, so which is really awesome. So I was born there and
Wow.
grew up in Switzerland. And then I did an apprentice here in Switzerland at the tender age of 15. I started 15 and a half, and I'm going on now. You can make the mathematics. I'm in my 41 year of
Wow.
this industry. Correct. And then after my apprentice, I moved to London to learn English because I didn't grow up bilingual. So I learned English, and then as well, I worked for Tony and Guy in the London Hair Academy
Mm.
for close to 2 years. I was there in between, learning English and working for these companies.
Hmm.
And then at 21, I remember well, 1990, January 21 was late January. I had a 2 weeks hotel reservation and a rent a car, excuse me. Now I call my in-salon education rent a car. It's so funny. A rent a car. I had a 2 week hotel reservation and I moved to Los Angeles. It was a big dream, basically. It was a
Yeah.
US passport, of course, which made a lot of things much easier.
Uh-huh.
An education in my pocket, a big dream, super, naive at 21, coming from Switzerland into this big part of Los Angeles
Hmm.
with a certain arrogance to it as well, I guess. Just kind of took no
Sure.
for an answer,
Yeah.
didn't take no for an answer, and just
Yeah.
went for it and wanted to do movie stars' hair. That was my thing, what I wanted to do.
Oh, I
Literally.
love. Okay, so what can you tell stylists and barbers even who are wanting to go in that field?
Yeah. First of all, never stop dreaming big, number one.
Mhm.
And then second is don't think they move to you, movie stars, or where, let's say, where photo shoots are happening or fashion shows and all that particular thing that's going down, or where they film TV shows. You have to move there. So
Mhm.
that's what I did. I moved halfway across the globe.
Yeah.
And, so then the minute you're there, I mean, you're channeled into and learning and meeting people. I mean, this was post, this was pre cell phone, pre everything. We had a fax machine I had at home. And I remember I was told when I was in LA, I had to buy the workbook. So I went to like some Barnes and Nobles and bought that workbook. And in that workbook, there were all photographers, hairstylists, makeup artists, set designers, everything imaginable listed that were doing work in this field. So I started to contact photographers in the Hollywood area because I lived in Hollywood,
Mm.
to see if I can do test shoots and all sorts of stuff. And I worked at a salon called Taboo on 3rd Street in La Cienega. It still exists as of today,
Wow.
the salon, which was British owned by British people. Really awesome. And there was also a very big invasion in the early 90s in Los Angeles of British people. There were like a lot in the music scene.
Mm.
There were also like a lot of warehouse parties. There was
Hmm.
also at Tramp. There was a really great salon on Melrose Avenue, early 90s, very sassoon driven. So I was very, being coming from London, I was very boxed in, like very
Mm.
geometric-y 80 things,
Cool, cool,
and
cool.
so that was the perfect home there for me. But there's people were also very well connected. And then so you go and look through this list of photographers in that workbook, you call them up, you tell them who you are, and that's how you hustle into it. And then one thing led to another, and you also went out in the evening. I mean, LA was still fun to go out in the 90s in the evening and everything, and you had all the right goods to do that too. So live that, I guess, let's call it Hollywood dream.
Hmm.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
as a young hairstylist that's just full of energy and full of life.
Hmm.
And a lot of beautiful thing happened. I mean, this is how I get to meet. I remember I had a person in my chair. I was asking her what she's doing, and she's like, "I'm a musician." I'm like, "Okay." And so, what music do you do? "Oh, I do country music." "Oh, you do country music?" I said to her, "Yeah, I know a country music lady. I listened to her on a tape, and a friend of mine introduced me to. She sounded really good. She's some lesbian chick from Canada. Would you know her?" And she looks at me and she goes, "That might be me." That was Katie Lang.
I love that. Do
Oh
you
my
know
God,
her?
this
You think
is.
you know her? I don't know.
I mean, how cool was that, right?
That's
Yeah, I
very
did.
cool.
Still up to my cousin Winnie. I did Marissa Tomei's hair.
Nice.
And then the really first big celebrity was Sharon Stone after Basic Instinct. That was the guy who cut all her hair off for the movie Sliver.
Oh, I
And that
love.
came all about because I did for many, many years. I had a very famous, a very well-known male model. It wasn't Derek Zoolander, no, it was Baron Anderson. So he was with Anna Nicole Smith on the Guess campaign. Do you remember Anna Nicole
Yes,
Smith, right? I
yes, I
mean, beautiful
do.
woman.
Yes.
Um, Correct. So he was a client of mine, and he was shooting with a lot of big photographers, and he was working, I think, once with, I think it was Bruce Weber, and
Mm,
there was a makeup artist, and the makeup artist asked him like, "Who cuts your hair? This looks so good," and he started
mhm.
to rave about me, and then that makeup artist did Sharon Stone's makeup, and that makeup artist told her about that great guy that cuts hair, and the next thing you know, I mean, I wish I would still have that voicemail. I had
Oh,
the telephone recording with the little
yeah.
tapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was like, I remember I come home and I play, my messages as you do, when your phone blinks, and
Yeah.
there he goes like, "This is Sharon Stone. Got your name and number. Could you please call me back?" And, then I did. And then one thing led to the other, went to her house, cut her hair off. It was awesome.
so
Yeah.
gratifying in every way.
No, absolutely. And then one of the greater thing was like me and her going to Camp Pendleton. That was during the Desert War storm,
Yeah.
so that was
Yeah.
now we're already counting like 92 or 92 and a half.
Yeah.
And we're at the Camp Pendleton, and that's for all the army wives that are
Mm-hmm.
left behind, their husbands,
Mm-hmm.
abroad,
Sure.
fighting and in the war. And there was James Brown giving a benefit concert, and I had James Brown 5, 6, 7 meters in front of me doing his little dance, like a
Yeah.
Sex Machine Man. I mean,
Yeah.
no, it's good maybe that I didn't have a phone back then, but imagine all these recordings, and it's just these memories are just beautifully stuck in my head, and I love to share them as well. And I've
Yeah.
never actually sold these stories actually on a podcast. I've been on a handful of
Oh,
podcasts, but that I haven't quite shared with anybody. So
well, I'm
thank you for
honored. I'm
letting me share that
honored.
with you
Yes,
and your audience.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I got
Absolutely.
some good stories. I mean, the list goes on.
You could just so much content for just
Oh,
hours. I know. That's great.
so much content. Don't we all? I mean, that's a great thing about this business, isn't it? I mean,
Mhm.
goodness, every day can change in a second of a minute.
Yeah.
You feel down one day, things maybe not go so well, and then just this one phone call or this one
Changes
client can just
everything.
elevate everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. It,
Yeah,
it's
really
it's
cool.
relieving,
Hmm.
you know.
That's it. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so so with all of
So,
these stories, which is so
mhm,
exciting,
yeah, sure.
what was a big struggle or a big failure that you
Big failure, big struggle. That's because I don't really look struggles or failure as like failures or struggles. I think they're all parts of the growing.
mm,
I mean, you are at that young age, you're so naive.
yeah.
You do stuff that, maybe a second thought around you wouldn't have done you would have done obviously different. I can't really pinpoint everything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, for instance, like, you know, I think that's a good example with Marissa Tomei. I remember she comes and see me, go, how you doing? How you doing? I didn't realize at the time what she has done. She just was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for My Cousin Vinny. So
Hmm.
she's telling me that, I'm like, okay. I don't make a big deal of it. I didn't really go to the cinema. This whole Oscar things it wasn't really my world, because also I was just kind of like I had other interests, let me put it that way.
Right.
So I guess I just wasn't
Into it.
schmoozing up enough or whatever, but it was still my haircut of My Cousin Vinny, and she won Best Supporting Actress, so it's my haircut. She looked great with all these different styles. But anyway, maybe learned of like how to do it the right way in Hollywood,
Mm,
in a way.
okay.
But no, I mean, failures. I wouldn't want to. Maybe one thing, but that just happened later on in the career. Then once social media arose, I wasn't jumping on it right away,
Mm,
because I was occupied in another way. So if I could say one thing, is like I could have maybe been a little bit more open to it and not so,
sure.
oh no, it's not going to work. I was very black and white.
Yeah.
Well, it's maybe, yeah, it really was. And then
Yeah.
kind of, had to learn, okay, no, this is now a big part of it, which also split the industry in two.
Yeah.
Social media. I still believe that.
So
But
so
anyway,
what
so yeah,
what
please.
side are what side are you on for the social media?
No, no, of course
The
that you have.
split.
Listen, everybody can make out of social media whatever they want to make out of.
Mhm.
Okay. And I also think it depends on what kind of a field you're in, and what kind
Yeah.
of content you want to share. And I'm certainly not going to be the guy there, crying on social media, blah, blah, blah. I know that gets a lot of likes and hearts and boos and ohs and this and that. But, I don't have that. I'm not going to judge anybody that cries on there either. It's all good and right. I don't let my so I post X amount of
Mm,
of obviously my brand, what I
yeah.
do,
Yeah.
the seminars, the shears, my travel schedule, also parts of my hobbies. I think that
Yeah.
our people are super interested, because it's the things that I do when they see the Swiss Alps and everything, that they are very smitten and taken by it. I think that also puts in,
Mm,
and I think everybody can decide and how much wants to share. But do
Yeah.
I gain clients from it? Actual haircutting clients?
Mm,
Maybe not my number one source, not at all. Maybe one or two. But I think it's nice to keep you afloat, to keep you in mind, to see what's going on, and you have people really, wanting to see what's happening and so on. And I don't really think anymore social media is really the right word. It's more like interest media.
mm.
Gary V actually had a really great. I
I
listened to
love
some of
him.
the stuff that
I love
he's,
him.
he's good at certain stuff,
Certain things.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And certain things, yeah. I don't think everybody's great. I don't know anybody that's great at everything. Just like a hairdresser, I don't know anybody
Right.
that's great at everything. I know certain people are so talented at what they do that just blows my mind. So Gary Vee as well, he explained it really well. It's like really interest media because it's the things that you're wanting to look, the things you're searching for. So it's really kind of turned a little bit from social more into interest, and
Mm.
you obviously, yeah, follow those things that you're interested in,
Yeah.
and like and comment and so on. Do I think it's a great tool? Absolutely. Do I think it's a great tool for young hairstylists? 100%. It's a visible business card. We used to hand out business cards,
Yeah.
with your name on it. Hey, I'm at such and such. Here's my card. And nowadays you can just give somebody the handle, you know. Also places that you want to go and visit, go to, sometimes maybe even a great recipe. I mean, it becomes part of it. 100%. No, I'm definitely on the social media side.
Yeah.
Is it the only thing that I would like put my weight on it? Absolutely not. I think that's more so being consistent with your work, being
Mm.
an upfront person, standing here on
Yeah.
time, put your hours in. And I think that's a massive part as well. And I think a lot of stylists have maybe forgotten about that. Not
Mm-hmm.
everything is being created through social media. It's like,
Right.
showing up on time, putting in the hours, not always look at your clock,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
put your work in. and
Yeah.
and and social media, I think, glamorizes things a lot,
Yeah.
like six-figure hairdresser. Sure, there is a six-figure hairdresser, but he doesn't fly from the sky. You have to work on that. No, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean. It doesn't
Yes.
happen just
Yes.
like two years after you get your cosmetology license. Absolutely not. I
Mm-mm.
mean, it's naive who finds that. But people glamorize things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's maybe sometimes where I have a little bit more of a problem with always, also that
It's
that
not,
glamorizing thing.
yeah, it's not always 100 every single time, every single day.
Correct.
You're gonna have those lows. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Well, 100%. Plus, also the thing is really is a success. It's not just made via social media. It's really
Hmm.
eventually at your craft,
Yeah.
how good you are in in what you do. If it's coloring hair, barbering, cutting hair, whatever it might is.
So
Okay, it's really your craft, your talent.
so that brings us
Mhm.
to how did you end up creating award-winning shears?
Mhm.
How did that come about
How did
from
that go about, right? Yeah. So this is interesting. So let's flip back quickly. So early 90s LA, and then I moved at 93 and a half. I moved
mm,
to New York.
hmm
That was after the Rodney King, that big variety thing that happened there. So, I
mm,
couldn't feel like LA anymore. So I moved to New York, wanted to get a change of pace. And
yeah.
I wanted to do fashion, like work with
Uh
fashion photographers, doing like runway, being like in that whole thing. Plus, I
yeah.
visited New York as well, a friend of mine, and we went out at night, and I loved it. So the
Yeah.
nightlife was like so much better than LA.
Okay.
So that was part of it as well, at that
Yeah.
age, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. So Louis Licari just opened up a salon in Beverly Hills, and that was a guy from New York, a colorist. So I heard that he flies back and forth and does client. I'm like, hold on. If he flies back and forth, I fly back and forth. So I started in the early 90s to be bi-coastal. Still, as of today, I have clients in Los Angeles, in New York, in Memphis, in DC. So I still
Wow.
fly back there to do that. But that's when I started. And I get a lot of hairdressers ask me how you do this. This is
Hmm.
another subject, but
Yeah.
so that's when it started. So anyway, fast forward. So I'm in New York. I work at a salon, and then they were asking. There was an open call for Wella.
Mm.
new artists. They're looking, Wella is trying to revamp their image. So I went on this open casting
Hmm.
and I got picked, and I was on the Wella International Network team. That was the win team. And you had a guest on it as well, Sonia Dove. So I've
Yes.
known Sonia since the early 90s when she came across the pond with her
Yeah.
husband back then, Christopher Duff. So we were
Yeah.
all on that Wella team, and we
Oh,
toured.
cool.
And sometimes Patrick Cameron joined us as well. Then the Sassoon team. That's when hair shows were hair shows. When we
Yes.
used to hit like IBS show when they were in Seattle, they were they were like in every city imaginable almost, big hair shows
Yeah.
like no unlimited budgets and so on. So I was able to that I experienced that, and I was already cutting dry hair then, but the scissor that I was using wouldn't last. And then
Oh.
I was 6 years with Wella, and then I got asked to be artistic and creative consultant for Goldwell America for a trend line. That was a styling line, a dark blue styling line. And I took that job, and then I had to do product knowledge. And then to make product knowledge a little bit more interesting, I was always cutting dry hair. So my
Mhm.
scissor wouldn't last. So I was at some intercoiffure event, like goodness, and I walked up to someone that was selling scissors, and I asked them if they could maybe help me. I have an idea. And then one thing led to the other. I had a prototype made, and I kind of hit the nail on the head. I crapped all my money together. Possibly my minimum order was 500 scissors, which was an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
And luckily, my friend at Goldwell was, buying half of it, so that was I was able to get that project and that vision off the ground, which was well over 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I basically launched a dry cutting scissor, and I was getting a booth at trade shows, a little tiny witty booth, and I was cutting hair in that booth, and people loved it. Live in front of people with a texturizing scissor on dry hair, pull people from the audience. This was something brand new. No scissor company ever did before cut hair.
Hmm.
They were all in suit and ties. You didn't hear about scissor companies doing classrooms, non-existing.
Mm.
This is all I was such a pioneer in this and got that rolling. Nowadays, when you go on a show floor, you see a ton of scissor companies. They weren't
Everywhere.
there back then. I mean,
No.
my competitors back then was like Hikari, they're still around.
Hmm.
Maybe Joel, you don't see them that often anymore, and a
Hmm.
handful of other ones. But otherwise, all like, when you have like an individual hairdresser nowadays that slaps their name on some pair of scissors, that didn't exist back then. And that was all before social media as well. So
Hmm.
plus the dry cutting too. I mean, everybody did cut dry hair, but nobody talked about it. So I
Yeah.
started to talk about cutting dry hair,
Yeah.
created a cutting system and the whole thing. And so that's kind of loofed off. We did so many trade shows, and I mean, it made a good amount of money, and that led to launching more scissors and more scissors and more scissors. And I've launched over 40 scissors in these 20 years, and we have about in our collection 27. I have a new one coming out in March, which is going to be pretty cool.
Oh,
But
how
yeah,
perfect. Perfect
yeah,
timing
yeah,
we have.
yeah, perfect timing. Yeah. So, and then, I was the first scissor company to polish edges, take the edge off
Mm.
so it would slide and all sorts of stuff. So, there's, pretty innovative stuff. Plus, I was never understood like, okay, hold on, there's scissor companies, but they don't cut hair.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
they're all suit and ties. You know,
Yeah.
they all
Yep.
know about the specifics about the scissor, but hold on, does it work? Does it work when I do this technique, that
Hmm.
technique, and so on? Plus, I also showed them how to, dry cutting a whole haircut, a dry cut from scratch with a system, with using texture blender shears. That
Hmm.
didn't exist till that point. So, we really hit the nail on the head, and so
So,
that's how that whole thing began to answer that question. Yeah,
I mean, for the listeners and the people watching, I feel like I
sure,
have to ask this question. So,
sure.
what what is the differentiator between Karg shears and maybe some of the newer companies that are out there like Hanzo?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a great question. I love that question. I got that question actually asked a lot. Okay.
Okay.
So, first of all, on my scissors, my name on it. And maybe other scissors have like maybe a logo.
Right.
on it. Okay. So the thing is my scissors, and I can't speak for any other
Right.
company scissors.
Right.
All I know is there is no 12, 13, 14, 1500 dollar pair of scissors unless they're studded with diamonds. That's all I say. Okay. That's all I
Okay.
say.
Okay.
And unfortunately, today's hairdresser, they ask the wrong questions because they know so little.
Mm,
Some companies maybe have a sales force out there. Some of them a
mhm.
little more aggressive than others.
Yeah.
Some companies offer payment plans, which is pretty common now. But back then,
Hmm.
maybe some companies say, "Hey, I get you a free sharpening with the scissor as well." Then people say, "Oh, great! I can get a free sharpening. This is why I buy the scissor." But
Hmm.
does it really fit your benefit? Does it really fit your benefit? Your
Yeah.
cutting style and so
Right.
on. I don't say anything about any
No.
scissor company. All I say is ours are different from a hairstylist to the hairstylist. There is that.
The
Plus,
way the way I like to think of it is,
Mhm.
I mean, the Swiss are the best at knives. Hello, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, sure.
Let's just go with
Victorinox,
that.
yeah. Yeah, let me just make sure here my scissors are not manufactured in Switzerland because we wouldn't have the craftsmanship. So
Mm,
they're all Japanese, and that's where the
okay.
craftsmanship comes from, and the knowledge and everything. And I work with really good companies together that I can have a lot of trust in that, and I have I'm a very loyal
Yeah.
guy as well, or I have like the people around me, or
Yeah.
it's a tight circle and a very
Yeah.
loyal circle too.
Love
So
that.
that's why that works great. Plus,
Yeah.
we speak to stylists as well, we listen to as well, and
Hmm.
then we launch different things. So for instance, when I launched the K soft cut, was like the first hybrid blade. So we took the
Oh,
angle at a different, the convex angle a little bit at a different angle, so it wouldn't, it's not as convex, but it still will cut precise. Or our sliding technology that has the convex edge on the side, but on the top it's straight. So we really made
yeah.
some really innovative stuff too. And when we launched such things, I mean, I remember so well when I launched that slide cutting scissor, like that straight scissor that it's used for curly hair or just to
Hmm.
slide through or extension, so on. I mean, there's a handful of other companies that have now that scissor too, but I know exactly where they have the idea from. So that
Hmm.
is a great compliment too. But I always
Sure.
say there's enough room for everybody, and I'm a
Yes.
big fan of people when they launch a cool tool,
Hmm.
when they have something, because again, bring it on the table. I think it motivates, and it and it motivates, it challenges things, it gets you thinking, you look at it, oh, what did they do? So
Yeah.
that's a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Things change.
Yeah.
But we manufacture. I mean, our scissors, they're CNC cut, laser cut. They're Croy tempered, like -300 Celsius for to get the molecules in the steel really well
Mm.
together. We have a polymer glide at the pivot. We have ball bearing. I mean, you go far till you see all that in
Yeah.
scissors. And we try to educate
Yeah.
at trade shows,
Hmm.
all the young stylists and so on. But sometimes they go for the hype.
It's, well, that's
All
what it
good.
is. It's hype. It's hype. It's hype.
Sure.
It's hype.
Hype.
What is a
Exactly.
what is a myth that you get all the time about what you do?
Let me understand you right. A myth.
A
What I
myth,
get. What?
like what's a common myth or a misunderstanding
A misunderstanding
about what you
in
do?
what I do, or in scissors,
What
or
you do, what you do, whether it's scissors, whether it's hairdressing, whether it's running a global company, what is that
Mhm.
common misunderstanding you get a lot?
That they're very much surprised when I tell them actually that I'm U.S. citizen,
Oh,
and that I care about America very much. I love that
mm,
country a lot, no matter what.
I love that.
And because this country has given me a lot of opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always love the country for that. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a little bit harder to love the country than others, but the same thing with Switzerland too.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so 100%. I'm a patriot. 100%. And, and I love to go back. I go back to the States every 3 months about, because I do trade shows still,
Yeah.
a handful, not so many anymore as we used to, because it's
Mm-hmm.
just has completely shifted, but a lot of in-salon education. And then I
Mm-hmm.
work with individual distributors as well. And then also doing clients, which I also love. I
Mm.
love working in New York, DC, Memphis, and Los Angeles. Plus, I get to visit all my friends too, and I know all these places, so it's easy to go around. So it's a nice thing. It gives a good balance. I think it
Which,
gives also gives a good balance to what I do here in Europe.
yeah. Which
Mhm.
you mentioned it before early on when you were talking
Sure.
about being in LA and bicoastal. What can you tell this generation of stylists coming in and just the ones who have been doing it for a while? How do you build a clientele? I feel
Hmm.
like that
Yeah.
is something that is being lost with social media.
Hmm.
And you were bicoastal, you were getting
Hmm.
clients, you're traveling the
Hmm.
globe now. How do you
Hmm.
still manage to get clients?
Hmm. Yeah, still, absolutely. Well, first of all, so, for instance, when I obviously the first clientele I built in Los Angeles in the early 90s, so I moved to New York, built another clientele to remain the clientele in Los Angeles. I flew back and forth. Back then, it was like every 6 weeks.
Hmm.
That was also so I was able to be paid the rent in New York. Now, I still have a handful of clients from back in the days, if you believe it
Wow.
or not, that I still see in LA. I know, unbelievable. And
Love
that in
it.
Los Angeles, which things are really rather change fast there,
Yeah.
which is just really, really cool. I know. Um, it's called consistent. See,
Hmm.
to be consistent. So when you have a clientele and you want to move somewhere and you would like to remain that clientele, you just then fly back and you let them know. You need to let them know early enough. You need to schedule them. You need to work at a salon that is a well-oiled machine.
Hmm.
No monkey business. I work in very well oiled establishments,
Hmm.
you know, and that I can depend on. And now when I do all that,
Hmm.
except Memphis, but I do all my own booking, but it's easy nowadays with emails, text
Yeah.
messages, and everything. Plus, my dates are up on my website. You
Mm-hmm.
need to let the people know in advance. And once you do this, you kind of come into a rhythm. Now, I'm not a colorist,
Hmm.
so I cut hair, period. Haircuts can be, pushed out a little bit longer.
Hmm.
Okay. Plus, my clientele, there's a handful of short hair clientele too. But, with medium, longer hair, you can push it out even a little further. So I'm there I would say about 3 months. And that really does well. Same here in Switzerland with my clientele too. Plus, I work in two other salons in Switzerland as well, doing the same thing. And
Hmm.
again, I'm there every 3 months, and that works out well. My haircuts, they grow out well, because I believe they get a good haircut, get a good haircut, and a good haircut supposed to grow out well. It should not be
Hmm.
lopsided after 6 weeks. That's a shitty haircut, excuse me,
It's
because hair
fine.
doesn't grow that uneven. No, it simply doesn't. And then, I celebrate hair cutting, so not coloring. So that, of course, makes it, gives a little bit more of a grace period. Plus, the thing is this, you cannot expect that the clients will be always there when you are there.
Hmm.
So, also don't be at a place too many days. Maybe a day, 2 or 3 is plenty, and then move on. Don't schedule out an entire week. You know,
Right.
but I think the big word to carry away from all this is to be consistent.
Hmm.
People don't. I see this consistent, not it's just like basically on social media. It's like, if you want to do a little something on social media, don't you need to be kind of consistent, not just post, every 3 months? You kind of, if you want to
Right.
achieve something,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I, I
Yes.
I always compare it to an Olympian, and
Yes.
we're having the Olympics coming up here in Milano Cortina, the Winter Olympics, which I absolutely
Yes.
love. I'm a big winter sport fan, and if it's so easy to compete at the Olympic, don't you think we would have way more competing?
Uh-huh.
Or it's tougher to get in. I mean, the thing
Right.
is it's just this 1%, these 2, 3% that make it to the Olympic because they work on they put their whole life into this. And all
Yes.
they do is work and work and work on it and wanting to become the best so they can go and compete. And that's what
Hmm.
I sometimes miss. When I see it's like when I do trainings in
Yeah.
salon trainings or when I work at these salons, they're like you show up and like, oh my God, that stylist, that assistant just left. Why did she left? Oh, she didn't have the
Hmm.
she didn't have the energy to do it, or it
Hmm.
took too long, or whatever it is. It needs
Yeah.
to, it's considered, you put your work in, then it comes back. So this is really, it's to be consistent. The same thing if you want to be bi-coastal, if you want to be that, you got to show up. You know how many weddings, parties, luckily not too many funerals, but wedding parties, anniversaries, gatherings I've missed because I actually had to travel for work.
Hmm.
You sacrifice.
Yeah.
Now, either you're ready to sacrifice or you're not. This all sounds cool. Oh, bi-coastal, you do
Hmm.
this, or you do that. I want to do that too. No, 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 no. Hold on. There's a whole thing going on. How about when you travel and you have an itinerary that's as long as your boot, and flights are being canceled, or storms come up, or this or that, or so and so. You have to rearrange stuff. You
Yeah.
need to be flexible. This is like the not so pretty side. Do you know how many nights I've spent at airports because I couldn't make a connection because something
Mm.
has happened? I don't post
Yeah.
about that, but
No.
yeah, then I would
Yeah.
get, oh, so sorry, Karg. I hope you're safe.
Yeah. Yes. They go to the other extreme. It's like, oh my
Maybe I
God.
should start doing that in 26. Okay.
Let's see what
Also
happens.
post the flip side. Yeah. Well, but there is a big
Yeah,
big of that,
absolutely.
100%.
It's real. It's real. It's
It's
raw.
real. Thank you. It's real and raw. That's what
Yeah.
your podcast is all about.
Yes, real and raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
How
right.
long have
So
you been doing this podcast now?
I have been doing the podcast, I think, 2 years.
2 years. So to get all these episodes and get all these people that come onto your podcast and everything, you need to be consistent,
Exactly.
right? I mean,
Consistent.
we figured out this date a while ago, but you need to plan this ahead. I'm sure you have your next 2, 3 months planned ahead with your guests. You're
Exactly.
like, oh, who else could we ask, and so on that
Yes.
fits in. But you need to plan this consistent, and you had to show up today. I know it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon where I'm at. I think you're
Okay.
6, 7 hours behind me. You
Yeah.
need to get up. You need to look good. Like, I need to be ready because we're having an international podcast.
That's right. That's right. It's lots of planning. It's vision
Right?
work. It's let's
Yeah.
see what happens.
Correct. Yeah.
Boldness. Um,
Yeah.
what is um what has been your favorite insult that you have ever gotten from somebody that you just it drives you now?
Oh, so there is a funny one because I wear scarves a
Okay.
lot.
Okay.
Today a turtleneck.
Yeah, it looks good, by the way.
No,
Very
no,
great.
thank you. So thank you. So I wear scarves a lot and always have. And it's like, no, he's not gay, he's European.
Okay. What did you
As
tell
though
them? What did you say?
no, it's just, great. I'm like, yeah, you can buy the starter kit over there.
Monetize it every time.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Love
ah,
that.
the scarves look so good on you, but not on me. I'm like, yeah, you tie it wrong, damn it.
I it wrong. So, so
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
listening.
So how do you take care of yourself with all of this traveling,
Hmm.
with international company, with
Hmm.
everything that you're doing? Because you're not just
Yeah,
doing hair, the
yeah,
you're running a company from Switzerland for crying out loud. So
correct.
How do you
Yeah.
nourish yourself?
Yeah. So yeah, so I have a company in New York. That's Karg Inc.
Okay.
And then I have Karg AG here in Switzerland.
Hmm.
And they do both, but they're two separate companies.
Okay.
And so in America, I'm with the same people, like, accountant for the past, goodness, 30 years. So, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
It's well organized. My wife does a lot with, does all the finances.
Oh, okay.
It's separated. So I take care of the front of the creative part of, like, be, yeah, yeah, be, I guess, the face of the company. Obviously, it
Yeah.
has, my name on it.
Yeah.
And then, I have I'm really surrounded with incredibly good people. And,
Hmm.
first and foremost, my wife, and then I have a wonderful gentleman that's been with me for a long time, good friend of mine, Russell Cordeiro in New York City. So I can completely count on him. Everything that I need that has to be done. You see him with me at trade shows, absolutely wonderful person. There's stuff I can bounce off my dad as well, when it comes to, like, business things and so on. I'm with the same people that manufacture my tools. I work for a very long time in the same establishments, in the salons.
Mm.
I don't switch them like, excuse me, underwear. I'm
Hmm.
very, very loyal. It's very Swiss a little bit. Once I stick, I stick. No, it is, because
Sure.
people also get used to it. I don't like to switch around. Oh, there it's better. Oh, here it's cheaper. Oh, there it's this.
Right, right.
No, stick to one thing.
Yeah.
It's you have less headache. So, that then I have to be honest here. So the pandemic. Sorry, now we're back at the pandemic. I know that
No,
is
it
going to
it
come up, but
changed everybody. Go ahead.
it did as well myself. And the thing is this: till up to the pandemic, 17 years straight, I pretty much was like every other month on some flight, international flight. I took way more trips to the States.
Hmm.
I didn't take that well care of myself, meaning not really taking enough, maybe time off. I was also, till that point, I liked drinking a beer or two, and
Mm.
I was also smoking cigarettes,
Mm.
more to decompress. So my
Right.
decompression back then, when you have a busy day, and we all know that,
Hmm.
it's like, you have a busy day, you instant gratification, you all the clients, you're at a trade show,
Yeah.
you're up all
Yeah.
the time, and then
Yeah.
coming down, like, it was just like the best thing. It's just like a Ziggy and a beer. I was like, just heavenly. Those two together, oh my God, even gives you a little head rush. I mean, it's lovely, right?
Yeah.
So pandemic hit, couldn't travel, nothing. I'm like, okay, this is my time. Now do what you always wanted to do, that you complain you never have time. So I quit everything
Wow.
from
Oh,
one to the next day. I just said, enough is enough. And I've always been an outdoorsy guy. Like,
yeah.
I'll always like the nature, and obviously here in
Yes.
Switzerland, I like hiking and everything.
Yeah.
But then there is a thing called trail running. And I picked up trail running, and that's basically mountain marathons. So I run now in the mountains over long distances, over shorter distances, more elevation, less elevation. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is you're out and about on different
Yeah.
terrains. You go above the tree line, below the tree line. You're like high alpine, low alpine. I mean, everything.
That's
And
amazing.
so that's how, where my complete outlet is now. I don't smoke. I
Congratulations.
don't hardly. I mean, I drink non-alcoholic beer, which I love because it's also isotonic. It's healthy for you. It's a sports drink now. It's funny. But with that, I mean, goodness, it's like that's exactly what all the kids do. Gen Z, they don't drink anymore.
No.
I'm totally Gen Z now. They don't drink.
No,
Unbelievable.
I don't drink. I get sick, but I'm very
Hmm.
much like this is great.
Yeah.
There's no, what do they call it? FOMO. There's no fear.
FOMO. Yeah.
There's no fear
Yeah.
of missing out. We're all on the same page.
Correct.
This is great.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's just funny to see that whole rhythm,
Totally.
And drugs I've never really done much
No.
of that. Maybe smoked some weed, but weed I quit
Yeah.
long time ago. So it was more that, but also I knew I had to figure out decompressing some other
Mm.
other ways that I know there's a lot of listeners now that still do body that
Mm.
listens to it now if wants to get rid of it. If you want to stop doing that, you got to stop drinking, then you don't feel like having the cigarette. So in my case was a drink and a ciggy went very well hand in hand.
Hmm.
So that
So
kind of a thing.
I want to go
But I
back.
wasn't a heavy drinker either, but I just
No.
knew the things together were not
Right,
what
right,
wasn't a healthy choice, especially if
right.
if you go 50 and above.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that because that is not easy.
Hello?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
you're
here.
frozen.
I'm here. I
Oh, you're
know.
here. The
I
screen is frozen. Sorry. Oh, there you are again. You were
Hi.
frozen for a second. I'm
You're
sorry.
frozen on my end. Oh, there you go. You come back. It's
Okay, good.
it's very hard to break a habit, you know? So that's a
Yeah.
very good thing to celebrate. Um,
No, no, 100%. Yeah. So, yeah, oh, goodness. Do you hear me? Because I
I hear
can't.
you. I hear
Why
you.
is this? You do?
I
Okay,
do.
great. Can you rephrase the question?
I gotta, yeah, let me see if I can get it out.
Sorry
Um,
about that.
no, no. We talked about a well-oiled machine. What
Hmm.
can you tell these salon owners? How can they have that well-oiled machine? What do they
Well,
need to have that?
yeah. Okay, so first of all, I am not a salon owner. I work in very good, well established salons.
Okay.
So all the salons that I work at,
Yeah.
it's the owner doesn't try to do everything. So some of the owners, they just own, they're
Yeah.
not hairdressers.
Ah, okay.
So they focus on the biz.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hairdressers, they have people in place.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
sorting it out right. They don't need to worry about, once you own a salon, you need to make sure, oh, do we have enough toilet paper? Is there enough soap? Oh, we need to pay this, we need to pay that. They get overwhelmed. That takes
Yeah.
away from the creativity. It just
Yes.
does.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away from the creativity. You don't want that, you
Mm-mm.
know?
Yeah.
So you want a clear plate, you know?
Yes.
And so you need to put people in place, and that's what they do very well. And they also have loyal people around them, the employees too. I mean, people come and go in salons. It's
Mm-hmm.
normal. I've been in salons. There's big walkouts and so on, but they've always regrouped themselves because they
Yeah.
also run a type business, meaning they had a little bit money on the side, or they just distributed their business enough that they're not like all of a sudden like completely broke or
Right.
or however. I mean, this is also what I do in my business too.
Right.
When 2000, I remember 2000, when the bubble 2008, when
Mm-hmm.
we had the financial bubble,
Yeah.
the real estate bubble, my company was still good. They kind of put the dent in it. So because it's also run conservatively, I have like a
Mm-hmm.
cushion on the side. The same thing when the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
We are, yeah, we are as a company, uh, I would say, a build
Yeah.
that was able to sustain this,
Right.
and also because the company also has a few different sources of income. So there's
Mm-hmm.
like the trade, there is the actual service, and then there is the education.
Right.
So for all the salon owners out there, I also sometimes think that they want to. I call this as kind of a Swiss expression. They want to dance on every wedding. They want you to do everything. Try to focus at what you are good at and then celebrate this.
Okay. There we go. Yep.
Like for instance, like if you have a hair salon, say, oh, we're not doing, like they'd say, oh, I would have a little space over there to the right. How about we'll put some nail people back there? That's like the worst idea you can have, like focus on some, do
Yeah.
something that like nobody around you kind of can compete with you. And if you're a specialist, and I've been talking about this forever, but
Yeah.
specialization
Yeah.
is the future.
Uh-huh.
Specialize in something you're good at.
Yeah.
You're just a lawyer as well. If you if you get a divorce, you go to the divorce guy, not the guy that fights traffic tickets. Somebody
Yeah.
that's specialized. They know, but you know what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
say.
do.
I,
I
I
do.
feel like they're dabbling in everything instead of doing one thing and doing it right.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
trying to stick their fingers in it all the way, and be kind to your employees too.
Yeah.
Reward them.
Yeah. Okay, so
Reward them. Give them
now
education.
so now we're
Hmm.
coming towards the end, but
Sure.
what is being in the industry for so long? 41 you said, yeah?
41, yeah.
41 years.
Is
What is the lesson that you have learned that you wish people not in the industry would understand?
a lesson I've learned that people not in the industry understand that that being a hairstylist is a highly that this is not an easy job
Mm-hmm.
at all. And this has a few components. Is
Mm-hmm.
A, it's a craft you're learning, a pretty personal craft too. And obviously the hair, I mean, come on, it's the frame of the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hair, I mean, jewelry, hair, a weapon, I mean, everything of the above. We stand all day, some of us sit.
Mm-hmm.
We eat tremendously fast. I mean, we can gulp down a sandwich in no time.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you walk through the door at a hair salon, you need to be ready.
Yeah.
You're for a woman, the makeup needs to be on, or you need to be dressed well. You need
Mm-hmm.
to smell well. I mean, they come to you for information because you're going in a beauty salon. Let me say that well, but it
Right.
has the name beauty on top, so you want
Mm.
to kind of represent that too.
Yeah.
You want to also look right. We stand always in front of a mirror, enough
Yeah.
time to criticize ourselves constantly. you
Oh,
know I
yeah.
mean, there's so many, and I think a lot of people forget that. And you need to be full of information, meaning people come to you, they ask, so what's in trend? You need to, you need to be ready here. You need to give them the information from the color, from the cutting, and how we wear the hair now, even
Yeah.
though you know exactly that this client is not going to change anything, but you still need to give that information
Yeah.
out. Okay, no, because you're a source,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's actually it's from a labor part, it's a big job. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why also I think a lot of young people don't have that durability anymore, because it's high. It is a laboring job, and it's not that easy. And especially if people, when you work, you cut hair, you apply a color, and they talk about their vacation or what they do, and so on. So that's why I understand why these silent appointments came in so handy. Or that maybe a hairdresser can also say, hey, listen, and I know hairdressers, they don't communicate during a haircut, so they can focus. There's all these things. So
Yeah.
understand why, so they don't have to listen to what these people, tell you, and move their head and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
not that easy. At the same token, it's such a beautiful business. It's
Mm-hmm.
instant gratification.
Yeah.
Instant gratification. An architect has to wait for years to see that house or that building being finished. We,
Mm-hmm.
in the end of the day, we go through with a Rolodex through your head, you know, who's,
Yeah.
like all these people we made happy. Such a and people, you see that around Christmas time. They're rewarding. They bring you Christmas cookies. They bring you a bottle of champagne. They think about you when they
Yeah.
leave the house. Hey, let me bring that to them. They give you a
Yeah.
Christmas card. I mean, how nice is that to receive a Christmas card?
Yeah.
You're in their head, or they give you an extra $100 or something. We're a big part of someone. So it's really beautiful. And it's a business that AI won't take care of it anytime soon. So that's for sure. It's a craft. Crafts will live on, and I think we should just keep on celebrating this beautiful craft. And it's really a phenomenal craft,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really think there's a right and a wrong on how you do things nowadays. You can do
Mm-hmm.
it differently,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, and also don't believe everything you read on social media and
Yeah,
what
don't
you
believe
see.
it.
It's just
Don't
no,
believe
that's
it.
just yeah, correct. But anyway, to answer your question, I think there's a lot of misconception.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think a lot of people don't know what this business actually involves, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a steep learning curve. I was always a person. I wasn't really a fast learner.
Mm.
It kind of took me a little bit extra, to
Sure.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I had it, so and still after 41 years, I mean that's a great thing. I still come up with new stuff. I have a new tool. I can do this. I can do that, and that's just a great thing. So it never stands still.
Mm-hmm.
It's always on the move. So it's a really beautiful trade to be in. The beauty industry, it always goes up, only goes up. You
Yeah.
never see a tilt.
Mm-mm.
The beauty industry always goes up, and it's a $1 billion industry. I don't need to tell you that. So there's a slice a little bit for everybody, but it's a great thing.
For people listening or watching, and they want to take classes with you, how do
Mhm.
they get in contact with you? How do they book a
Yeah,
class? How do they get more
sure.
involved with the Karg business?
It's the Karg page. Yeah, very simple. I have a website. Are you gonna put some links in the
Oh
on the
yes.
on the?
Oh
Oh yeah, so it's
yes.
gonna be all linked up. So
All
anyway, it's
linked up.
it's all linked up. So there is I have a program which in salon education. I travel to the salon. That's when I'm in the US, when I do my US tour,
Hmm.
and then always hit like 6, 7, 8 different cities, depends. And I do them across the United States, Canada as well.
Mm,
And that's where I go, or then at trade shows.
okay.
Um, my next big trade show is going to be the Premier Orlando show, which we definitely want to have
Yay!
classrooms. Yay!
I'll
Yeah,
see you
which I've
there.
been,
I'll
yeah,
see you
awesome.
there
Which I've been doing the goodness forever,
forever. Yup.
forever. Yeah, really
Yup.
cool. And correct. So, classrooms there, but really, I think the hands-on, the in-salon education, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Really in depth. I always have my scissors with me too, so they can all dabble into those tools too. They don't have to, but they can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a really great way on doing this. And then, of course, my website for tools. And then,
Yeah.
everybody can write me an email. I answer all my
Oh, good.
emails.
Good.
Absolutely. I'm very, very, it's super important. Customer service, because, we're
Yes.
in customer service. So also fellow hairstylists, we have to treat the same
Yes.
way too. And then if you're in New York, DC, Memphis, or LA and want a haircut, you can hit me up too.
I love I love that. Okay, so
Right?
in closing, one final question.
Sure.
What is the
Shoot.
one question that I did not ask you that you wish I would have, and how would you have answered?
Hmm. Yeah, what's after hairdressing, right?
Ah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I hope I'm probably going to tap out on the peak of my career. I hope I can do
Okay.
this sometime, if it's selling my company. Don't know yet, but definitely it's going to be at the peak. I'm not going to be a guy that's going to stick forever, because I think there's so many other great things and interests that I have. I mean, again, I'm big in nature. I'm a big
Mhm.
skier. I do ski tours where you skin up the
Sure.
mountains, you go down in deep powder, beautiful. There's a lot of stuff you can do this around the world. I always said I want to hit every ski resort at one point. I want to ski in Japan. There's other great places that you want to ski
Whoa.
at. I think
Okay.
there's a whole life afterwards. Switzerland is a very beautiful place to live. I'm very blessed with
Mm,
that. I'm
yeah.
very well aware of this. I kind of had to get a little bit older to understand that, but it really is
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's very safe. It really
Yeah.
is cool. And there's so many corners of Switzerland and in Europe I want to travel to and see. I mean,
Hmm.
100%. So,
Yeah.
that's definitely, I mean, I mean, again, I still have another another good decade ahead of me easily. but I'm not going to stick around for forever. 100% not. I
That's
mean, there's
very
other things. There's other things to life as well.
I love that you're saying that, and I love that you know your timing, right?
Exit strategy, you
Yeah,
mean?
well, yeah, okay, but like
Yeah,
you're not overstaying your welcome. I guess that's my point. Like you
that
know,
is well put. Not overstaying your welcome. This is very well put. Yes,
yeah,
100%, Christine.
yeah.
Not overstaying my welcome.
I loved having you on here, Mike. This was great. I know everybody watching and listening, they're gonna love this. We're gonna have all of your links in the show notes.
Hmm.
So if you're listening and watching, make sure you go get involved with Karg Industries, right? And
Correct. Nicely put.
we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Soon, yeah. And also for the ones that, let's say, if anybody tunes in from Europe, there's also going to be the Europe information, which is
Yes.
then going to be via my Swiss company. But yeah, super cool. Thanks for having me. Super flattered, super honored. And if you're in Orlando, please come by the
Yes, come
booth
by.
if you
Yes, come.
can.
Yes,
Are you
come by.
planning on being in Orlando?
I will be at Orlando. Yes,
Oh,
I
fantastic. So
will
if you
be.
find a minute,
I will. Oh,
right?
yes. Don't worry. I'll hunt you down.
That would be great, Christine. It was lovely speaking to you. Thank you
You.
so much.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day, and then a good. And by the way, Happy New Year! I didn't even say that to you. I can
Happy
still say
New
Happy
Year.
New Year,
It's
right?
okay. Yes, we're
Yeah,
still in January. We can
it's
do
the
that.
year. It's the year of the horse in
The
the
year. I
Chinese
keep
New
hearing
Year,
that. I keep
right?
hearing that.
Yes. Yeah, so we last year was the snake, so it was about shedding, and then this year it's about horse going
It's
forward.
about
So
power.
shedding, preparing forward, putting everything into place, perfect for everything I wanted to do in 2026. So get
That's
ready,
right.
everybody.
Let's do it, guys.
Big plans.
All right,
Yes.
you guys. We're gonna wrap it up, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Christine. Take care.